In our Northeast 2 to 4 star chat, we're just making connections, and I think it's really important to sometimes get another perspective. You guys hear from me a lot, you hear from Tara a lot, and I think it's really great to have teams hear from different people and different, like, how they do things, how they grow, because I am such a believer that my way is not necessarily the right way. You always have to find your own way. And I think it's really important, like, one, to listen to the national wake up calls, but also for us as a team to have closer connections to people that when we say, oh, that makes total sense to me, and ask some questions. So I'm going to hand it over to Jill, who is a killer when it comes to consistency. And I will let her do her own introduction, and she's going to talk. And don't worry, Tara, I have it set so that we're only doing like a half hour. We're not going to go past your bedtime. So I am psyched for you all to be on. And so it's good to see some new faces. And take it away, Jill.
Thanks, Jen. Okay, so I have been coaching now for 6 years and 1 month. And I have been in Success Club for 6 years and 1 month. And I wanted to just talk about, number one, how that consistency has worked for me. And number two, how I'm able to close sales every single month without fail, because I know that that sales process is tough, especially for new coaches. And so just give you some tips on how to have total confidence and never feel like you got to hold points for the next month because you might not get enough the next month, right? And so one thing is that I started this business as a VP of finance and accounting. So I was working full-time VP job. I have 2 kids. At the time, they were 2 and 4, and I was busy. And so yet in my first month, I learned about Success Club, and I said, all right, I might as well do that. And then I learned that you could get success starters. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I learned about all these things, the Success Club trip and all these things. And I was like, all right, so let's just never drop the ball. And I made Success Club 5 at the beginning, that no matter what, I'm going to reach this. And I heard a call early on in coaching that really helped me. And I've shared 2 documents with Jen, and you might have seen this one before. My team knows that it's the only tracker I've ever been able to stay consistent with, because it's like one sheet of paper that I can keep with me and I can take with me wherever I am. So if you guys are working full-time jobs or if you're home, there's one paper that I need no matter what. And that has been this 100 no's challenge, right? And it's just 100 circles on a page. And so what I know is that if I can talk to 100 people in a month, and it might be carryover from month to month to month, but if I can talk to 100 people, right, just talk to them. And if I fail 97% of the time, then I hit Success Club, right? Think about that. That does not sound awful. If you fail with 97 of these people and you succeed with 3, then you've made your goal. If it's Success Club 10, then you just have to succeed 95% of the time. So I'll tell you what I do for this this sheet is I qualify people to go on the sheet. The only way that they get on the sheet is if I know their goal, or what program they're going to do, or what their goal is, or if they're going to be a coach, right? And so what I do is with each person who I know one of those things from is I take the bubble, I divide it in half with a line, I put their name on the top, and I put one of those 4 things on the bottom. It's, well, 5 things. It's either the program they're going to do, the product they were interested in, the group they were going to be in, their goal, or if they're going to be a coach, right? And that way, if I got to hop in the car with my husband and he's driving for an hour, all I need is make sure I have this sheet and my phone with me, and I can run my business and do a lot of follow-ups. And I know even with the Success Club system tracker that's virtual now, that's on in the back office, I don't think it has a place for all the names and that kind of stuff. So this is still something that really works. And then as you can see, I highlight when the people buy their challenge pack or whatever, once the sale's gone through. And so that's worked for me over the years. and I have a stack of these, right? And I put them in a binder. After the month's done, I put them in a binder, but I can quickly scan if I'm looking for, okay, who's going in 9-week control freak? Who do I need to make those last follow-ups with? I can very quickly scan this page and see the 9W, right? Or I can see, like, if I'm running a sneak peek, who are the people I quickly need to go through and find coach. So this is something that's really helped me. Now, when it comes to actually closing these people, what's really important is that we are not all those other companies that's trying to sell because we have a goal, right? And so I also shared with Jen the prospect profile form that I created for my new coaches, right? So I don't use this anymore because I instinctively know all these things, but I think it's really important that before you offer anybody a solution, that you really understand what that solution, that perfect solution is that's going to meet their needs. Jen, you want, yeah, there we go. So on here, basically, and this I sent it to her in a Word format, so you can, make it however you need it to be. You're basically putting their name, their location, their family, their occupation, right? That's the form process that we learn at the beginning of this, right? And that's just getting to know a little bit about them. Jen, if you want to scroll down a little bit, we want to find out, first of all, and this is in your conversation with them. So, number one, if you can get your prospect on the phone or on a Zoom call, I swear you're going to close so many more sales because it's going to happen so much faster than messenger conversations where they quickly disappear. I had a girl who commented on a post earlier. We went through everything so fast in like 5 minutes to get her set up with a challenge pack. And I swear I'd never had a conversation with her. And then at the very end, when I asked if we're going customer or coach, like all of a sudden she was gone for like 25 minutes. And so I don't even know if I'm going to close her tonight. But if I had said, which I didn't even think to, hey, you want to hop on the phone real quick and we'll go through this, she's not going to hang up on the phone or disappear on the phone, right? So we can go through all these things. So until you've figured out and filled out all of these things on this form, is really hard to offer somebody a challenge pack. And what I would equate it to is if somebody messaged you and said, hey, Jill, I have this goal of selling 3 more mascaras this month. Can I sell one to you? Right. And I'm like, well, I'm not really in the market for mascara. Like, obviously, this person is not interested in my needs. They're just trying to make their quotas. Nobody wants to be sold to that way. And I know that most coaches don't want to come across salesy. So the best way to come across non-salesy is to really dig into what your prospects want. So we really have to figure out what are their big goals, right? Then we want to ask them what's prevented them from achieving their goals, right? We want to really understand these things. By writing them down, you're listening, you're actively listening, you're taking notes, and then you can save this. You can put in a binder, whatever it is, if you want to, so that you can quickly come back to this form and revisit and know exactly what you talked about, right? The third thing, why do you believe certain Beachbody products or coaching would be beneficial to your prospect? This is for you to answer so that you can actually connect the dots. Because if you don't know which product or if coaching is beneficial, then you aren't ready to offer them a package because they're going to say no if they're not connecting the dots. And if you haven't connected the dots, how are they going to connect the dots, right? The next one is, what did you offer your prospect in terms of an invitation to a challenge group, a sneak peek, a product link, or a video? These are the things that make this tangible, right? You know what a challenge pack is. They got no clue. They don't really understand what you're talking about when you say challenge group and program and this and that. They're really so in the dark, and we're so in the dark to the fact that we talk thinking that they're understanding us. So until they have some kind of tangible thing, they can see like a quick scroll of your challenge group or a previous one. Or what is it like? What is a sneak peek? Like, who knows what that is, right? Can you just go into your group and screen record and just scroll down real quick, right? Without having to put them in. That's a little bit hard for them if they don't know what they're committing to. Product links or videos, show them what they're getting, right? The next thing comes from GoPro, right? Is it GoPro? Eric Worre. When are you going to speak to them next, right? Is it do they have a call to action or do you have a call to action? If you don't know where you left things, then you're probably going to lose the conversation, right? So you need to know if you're not closing the sale right then and there. And honestly, if you're getting through these things, talking goals, struggles, pain points, they start to get these feelings and they're in the zone, and you're really best off to close the sale right then and there rather than have them go back and start thinking and talking themselves out of it. But if they do need time, they need to consult somebody or watch a video, then know, are you watching this video today or tomorrow, right? Like, when is this happening? And know what that next call to action is and who is in charge, right? So going back, when you're having the sales call, Jen, if you want to stop the screen share, when you're having this sales call, right? When you get them on the phone, and even if it is in Messenger, you really want to start with, where are we at, right? Where are you at now? Because this is where you're going to dig deep with them, where you're going to really get to the root of what's going on right now, because that's going to really start to have them feel like they do need to make an immediate change, right? So where are we at right now, and where do we want to be? And I would say a good time frame for that is the next 3 to 6 months, right? So where do we want to be in the next 3 to 6 months versus where are we now? You can ask them for their weight. If it's a weight loss goal, they say they want to lose weight, then you want to understand exactly how much weight is this, right? And you can always use that rule of thumb, 2 to 3 pounds a week. So if they're saying 40 pounds, you're thinking 20 weeks, which is 4 to 5 months, right? Maybe 6 months. So 4 to 6 months. And we can totally do that with our programs, right? So you're getting this picture in your head. Okay, that's pretty doable. We can do that, right? And so another part is to go deeper, right? Because some people think they want to lose 30 pounds. They don't really know what that means. They don't know what that feels like. So let's try to get deeper with that, right? So what does it feel like? Let's say the person is 200 right now. So tell me, how is this showing up in your life right now? How is it affecting you? What is it like to be 200, right? Really get down there with them and have them identify for you what the pain points are, right? So we're saying, okay, I totally understand where you're at, right? And you're saying you want to be at what number, right? Make them repeat that back again, right? And then you're going to do the math. You say, okay, we want to lose 40 pounds. Okay. So tell me, what is life like when you reach 160? Tell me, how does that change your life?
Jill, can I just interrupt? Are you doing this all on the phone or on a Zoom?
Phone, Zoom, however they're comfortable. And
Okay.
if they're not, then just Messenger is okay. But I find that getting them on a Zoom is the best, because we definitely make connection. You can see their emotions,
Yeah.
you can take a lot from it,
Yeah.
and they can feel how much you care.
Right.
And they really feel you.
Yeah, I think most of us here do a lot in Messenger. I do a lot in voice Messenger when I start getting into conversations, because I want them to hear the same thing. But I actually find a lot of people are kind of like, no, I'm not ready to do a Zoom. It's like they don't really want to look you in the face yet. So I was just interested to see how you're doing that.
Totally fine. What I find is if you just ask, then you can get a lot farther. And if you subscribe to especially if you're working, if you subscribe to Calendly or Acuity scheduling, you can have a free scheduler and you can set your time limits, and you can let them know, I actually have 2 spots tomorrow or 3 spots the next day. You could tell them to book a time with you. Don't be in a rush, right? If they know you're relaxed and you're not rushing to do this, then they're going to feel relaxed. If you have a form, they have questions on those things too. And you can find out a lot of information from the person ahead of time in some questions, and you'll receive the email saying they booked a time with these questions filled out, and you can ask all kinds of things on there. So then when we understand, what does it mean to you if you reach that goal, right? So what does it feel like when we get to 160? How has life changed? Then they start to get really excited, right? The big thing that happens with me is I ask them, so I'm telling you right now that, and then we go through the struggles too. So what have you been doing, right? How have you been working on losing this 40 pounds, right? And why don't you think it's working? How long have you been working on it, right? Figure out what they've been doing, because that's going to give you so many hints as to what you probably need to offer them. Is it just accountability? Is it that they don't really understand nutrition? Is that they're doing that the exact opposite of what we know? Are they trying to completely like cut all carbs, limit all calories, and do a ton of cardio, right? Which is kind of the opposite of what works. And so once we figure out like what they're doing and they're telling you all this information, then we can kind of say, all right, I think I have your solution. So let's say we put this together and I have a recommendation for you on a package that's going to be perfect for you. Because at that point, you really understand, and you can even ask them, tell me about what you really enjoy for fitness, right? So we can start to understand which program are we going to get them into. Ask them about how much time they want to give to their fitness, right? 4 days, 7 days. Ask them, are they somebody who would rather be told exactly what to eat and follow the plan and know they're going to get the results? Or are they more into making some gradual lifestyle changes with regards to nutrition? Really narrow down in your head where they're at. You can even ask them, like, if it sounds like they want to do weightlifting, are you generally ready for your workout, excited for it? Are you sore after your workouts? How are your cravings? All these things are leading questions for us to figure out exactly what they need. And then you can let them know, right, that you have the perfect solution for them. And you're going to make that recommendation in a minute. But let me ask you, if I tell you right now that if you go with this, if you and I start working together today, right, and in 6 months, I promise you, if you put in the work, you can reach that 160 pounds. How are you going to feel about yourself? Right? And have them tell you that I would be so proud. I would cry. Right? And ask them what's happening this summer. Right? Think about what time of year is that, and figure out like what that is, and help them start to visualize all these amazing things, playing with their kids, hiking without, hyperventilating, and all these fun things. And then ask them, so if you knew you could achieve this and you did nothing in the next 3 to 6 months, and you were the same in 3 to 6 months, how would you feel about yourself then? And they're going to be like, oh, I got to do this. There is no question. I am not going to be the same in 3 to 6 months. I would hate myself, right? I would be really pissed at myself that I didn't do anything. And I think that's generally what pushes people over that edge to say, I can't be this person anymore. Tell me what this package is that's going to change my life, right? And at that point, I say, okay, this is my perfect recommendation for you. And it's exactly the package that is going to solve all of their problems. And you can present the package, right? You can tell them what's in it, but really it doesn't matter what's in it. And this is something that I think a lot of coaches don't understand. It doesn't matter all the features and all the things that come in it. What matters is that they're going to get to their goal, right? That's what they're paying for, is that lifestyle change, right? So it doesn't even matter what's in it, but you can get really excited about what is in it and explain the things. Be careful that you're not completely overwhelming them, but let them know that it's all they need for the whole year for fitness, a couple different nutrition programs, and you can tell them which one you think and why it's right for them, but that there's this other one too that they'll learn from. And then whichever supplement, explain the benefits, right? And how it pertains to them, not the general every benefit, right? These are all the things that everybody gets from Shakeology. Just tell them the things that pertain to them, right? Because otherwise it's super information overload. Don't even give them like options. And a lot of times I go with the higher up package, right? The deluxe. And I just go with that because that's my best recommendation. And they've already seen that this can take off 40 pounds. Like, I don't care what it is. Just like, yeah, I'll pay for it, right? And if you can sense that that's too much, then you can always say, Well, we can choose between the 2 supplement options and we can bring the price down if you want. And you can always back it down. Or conversely, you can say, I think this is the perfect package for you. And then you can also add, you know, I don't know if you'd be interested, but we can always bump it up for $60 and also add this pre-workout and post-workout, which I think will be really great since we're going with a lifting program and I do lifting programs all the time. And I know I need it, right? Or whatever reason you also love Energize and Recover or Shakeology, whichever one is the other one. At that point, I would always ask them, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we at? Right? Between like, Jill, you totally just wasted an hour of my life. And Jill, I wish we started this yesterday. How do I do this? And have them tell you. And if I've never had anybody say like less than an 8, but if they say 10, just be like, okay, all we got to do is shoot me your email or give me your email and let's figure out your flavor options and get this set up. Right. And then you can start to go into like coach, customer, explaining that. But if they say they're an 8 or a 9, I would ask them, right? So why did you say 8? Or what's keeping you from saying 8, 9, 10, right? It's probably fear, right? Fear holds people back. They don't want to fail at something, right? Sometimes it's a little bit of the finance, but really like if it's finance, go back and ask them again. So if we said like finances aside, if we said this was going to get you to your goal 100%, no fear, no doubt, right? Would you pay anything for it? What would, do you see the value in that?
Hey, Jill, can I ask you a question? Because I think you have really good points. You definitely dig in deeper. I do ask a lot of these questions. I think a lot of us ask a lot of these questions. My question is, because your process is, and maybe it isn't, it's a little longer, right? So a lot of us are working full time. We're doing things in pockets of time and little pieces of inviting. How much time are you spending a day having these conversations? Are you, because my theory always is you get to a certain point and you're like, I'm not gonna make you do this. I can ask you a million times. And I had a girl, she's like, I've been doing 21 Day Fix for a week and a half. And I have lost 1 pound, but my friend doing keto and not eating and doing 2 cleanses a week is losing 14 pounds. And I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna tell you can't lose weight faster. I'm telling you, you're never gonna keep that off. And so I think that, a lot of times I found early on is sometimes I was spending so much time in these conversations, but you can't do it for people. So I'm curious, how much time are you spending on these conversations? And when do you know when to be like, they're not there?
If I have a call with somebody, it's usually a 45-minute call. Otherwise it's, piecemeal with the messaging. But I would have maybe 1 or 2 of these a day because I'm giving people my calendar. And so they're booking out a few days, right? And so I quickly try to get people on my calendar so that I'm still doing what my activity is right now. And my team books time with me on my calendar too. I protect my time, right? And then I'm in the right frame of mind and ready with my sales, my sales script and the points that I need to go through so that I'm not just doing this on the fly. But you can do this in Messenger as well and ask these questions, in sequence too. I think with regards to, people, the keto thing and that stuff, the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed other people are. And I told a woman, maybe yesterday, I was like, why don't you go sleep on it, right? Why don't you just sleep on and get back to me when you're ready? She was on my Zoom this morning working out with me, right? And she still doesn't know what she wants to do, but we got to work out together and I'm pretty sure she felt good, And so I think the more relaxed and nonchalant you are about it, because you have other people, right? Because you're talking to 100, right? Just talk to plenty of people and you won't feel so pressured with each person. And I think the more you let them know that whatever they do, they have your support. I think that that's really the key. Does anybody have any questions?
Are those forms on the back office?
No,
No,
I
I
can
sent
send
yeah.
them. They were, Jill sent them to me. Those are her developed forms, but I will tell you, go for no and the bubbles concept is probably in the back office, or you can search it on Google because it's a big coach thing to do. However, I like the bubble idea where you kind of split it. That's unique to, so I can certainly share those forms.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
And then sometimes I'll do like a pink or an orange circle at the very end of the month, signifying I kind of talked to that person for the last time in that month, like don't go back again. And then I always highlight in yellow the ones who have closed.
Hey, I don't have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
But I wanted to just say that I wish I would have seen this, Jill, and I know that you've probably told me a billion times, but like to hear this in this format directly, I had someone who I got on a phone call and I sold them a challenge pack, and after talking about what they wanted and needed, but then after we were done, she was like, wait a second, what's the recover like? I noticed that you do, so there was a little bit more. So I could have gone for that deluxe pack, not even realizing that she was there. Like I missed out in just there was a little piece of our conversation that was missing that could have landed the deluxe pack. And so now it's something I have to go back to, but it was awesome that you hit on that, because ultimately if I'd asked like one or two more questions, digging a little deeper,
Mm-hmm.
or had a little bit longer of a conversation, I would have probably been able to know that that's more of what she wanted. So
Yeah.
that was just something I missed out. So,
And my carts are generally in the 250 to 400 range because I get so excited about the sale things, like the add-ons. I'm like, oh my God. And you can get beach bars for like, 50% off and free shipping, and you can get hydrate for 10% off. And I get super excited about those things that they offer. And I tell them the ones that I get, which is everything. And I'll say, if there's any of those that you want, we can always add them in, or you'll see them on your end too. At least they're looking then. And they know how excited I am about that sale price, and they go for them too. They always add
That's
on.
interesting, Jill, because normally I will tell people, sometimes I'll say, hey, I'm going to put Energize in your cart because you're like, I can't live without it. You shouldn't live. No one should live without it, really. And so I think that, but I don't mention everything because I never actually know, and I've never done the research to say how much, when they're just buying a package, what kind of discount are they getting? I've never noted that. So that's really interesting so you know that off the top of your head, what they're going to be offered at checkout.
You'll see it in the share cart, right? When you're doing share cart, you'll see everything that they're going to see too on their end.
So I thought it was right when they check out that they're just offered that. I didn't know we could see it directly then.
Yeah, you'll see it too on your end.
Okay.
And you know who had a really great call? This was last February on Super Bowl weekend, because I remember being in Miami listening to this. Danielle Natoni did a really great wake up call on how to take people through and build these share carts. And I think they shared the script. I know I have the script in our team page. I can send it to you guys too. But if you go back to the archives, it was a really great call on how to move people through this sales process too.
Yeah. I do remember that call, but I didn't save anything down. If you have it, let me send it over and I'll share it. But
Sure.
yeah, that's awesome. I do remember that call too. That was good. I love her anyway. So,
Anybody else have one last question? I don't want to keep you.
Nope.
You good? No, this was awesome.
I do real quick,
Hi.
please. Hi, Jill. I'm thinking just to hear from your perspective and your experience, how do you build up those 100 people that you're reaching out? And is it 100 or it keeps adding per month as the months go? How has that played out for you?
It's 100 every month.
Yeah, it's 100 every month, 100 conversations, but sometimes it's people from the last month, people who interact on my stories, adding. So I'm at like 4,900 friends right now. And if you do the math, in 6 years of coaching, I've added 3 people a day. Like literally, that's the math. And I think if you're just consistently adding a few people, you can do friends of friends who have lot of mutual friends. I always say, like, if you go into your friends, if you go to the people who are like your ideal customer and you know that you have a lot of mutual friends with them, look at their friends list and find people who have at least 5 mutual friends, because then those people are not going to like ask your friend, like, why'd your friend me? If there's like 5 mutual friends, because I don't do Instagram much. I love Facebook. I find that I can get to know people better, quicker. And so I friend those friends of friends who have at least 5 mutual. I make sure there's no coaches in that list because they're generally local people. And then the more you do that, the more that you see more people with more connections, and you can do up to like 30 to 50 a day of friending people. And then the next day you just go and whoever friends you back, accepts your friend request, just reach out and say, hey, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for accepting my friend request. You showed up as, a suggested friend. I see we have a bunch of mutual friends. How are you doing in this like crazy pandemic life? And then you just start the conversation like you would anybody else. And then they start seeing your stuff. And if you're consistent on your feed, then that's when you'll get like the girl today who commented on a post of mine. And then, we're setting up a challenge pack. I just got to make sure she does it by midnight.
Yes.
Annette, you had a question? I guess the last one?
Nope.
No? Okay.
This was awesome.
Sure.
Anyone else have anything?
No.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for this. And I think that this was a fun way to have like a little different dabble. We're going to try and do a guest speaker once a month in our team call. So I will be on yours next week and I'm looking forward to that. And, it's so crazy to hear because we all have different perspectives and we all have different, we all do things a little bit differently. And that's the beauty of this business, is that there is no right or wrong way. So that's the best part of this, right? So it's great. This was awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Does anyone else have anything? No? All right.
Hope to see you all next week.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.